Thorn.
I love you, Bobby.
Thorn.
I love you, Bobby.
What up, everybody? It's me, Chef Ponder. We're another installation of Becoming a Boss in the Kitchen. And man, this has been like anticipated for a long time. Yeah, I've been seeing it on my Instagram channel. Yeah, I've been seeing it everywhere. And he actually threw it up today up on Facebook. It went crazy. I was getting all my notifications were blowing up. I'm like, what the hell is going on Facebook? And yeah, he just happened to share it on Facebook, and it just went crazy. So without further ado, the person of the hour, Mr. Cooks.
My
Peace and
dude,
love. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, good. I know you told me earlier you're tired, man. Listen, burning it, but you be burning it on both ends, man. You be getting
I know. Yeah, I just flew in. We just got to Charleston. Was in the airport for 3 hours waiting on Hertz. Hertz had like a nationwide outage or whatever the case may be. So,
oh wow, that's crazy as hell.
So here we are. But I'm here. I made it, and I'm all good. So what's up?
Wow, hold on. My thing going on. Okay, what you got going on in Chucktown?
We are here for I'm on a tour, so I have a dining with DariusCooks tour where basically I travel all over the country doing a 7-course dinner party. So my team and I, we are in Charleston this weekend. We just finished up last weekend. We were in New Orleans. Before then, we were in Phoenix. Before then, San Francisco. Before then, LA. So,
dang, boy, you getting it in, man.
now we're in Charleston. Next weekend, we'll be in Charlotte. Then we'll be in Greenville. And I think Atlanta is after that. I think.
I was just about to ask you when you coming to the.
It's coming up. I feel like it's something. I feel like it's something in between. Oh, or I think it's Orlando first. Orlando, then Atlanta.
Then come back to Atlanta. Okay, yeah. Okay. And is it just like a pop-up shop situation you're doing?
Not really, nah. So what we do a 7-course dinner party. The guests do not know what the menu is going to be. They don't even know where it's going to be. They don't even know where it's going to be held. All they know is they bought a ticket last year, most people, and I'm coming to their city and I'm cooking. That's all they know.
So how is it doing? Is it selling? I'm pretty sure it's selling out. That's a crazy question, but
yeah. It's it's one of my premier events. So I'm blessed that majority of the cities are already sold out. They sell out like almost a year in advance.
Wow.
Some of the smaller markets, that's with anything, struggle a little bit, but it's a cool time. It's a cool time for me to connect with the people that follow me. I love the community that I have is pretty dope. So this allows a lot of people to connect in a way that most other people don't. So it takes the experience offline and puts it in person.
Nice. So listen, we're gonna dive right into it. People are queuing up on the avenue right now. So we're gonna start with the first question, brother. Tell us about yourself, man. Like, what's your story? Give us your pitch. Like, the people who don't know who you are, which I
don't even have a story. I don't know. It's so checkered. You know what I mean? Like, it's not really a story. I feel like I'm just a regular everyday person that happens to have found his niche. I do a little bit of cooking online, a little bit of social media influencing, monetize the brand, and here I am. I don't really feel like, there's like history and there is information, I guess, but
right.
I'm just a regular, guy.
Anything but regular, brother.
I know I feel you on that, but you got to realize inside looking out, I don't see it in that way, in that light. So yeah, I'm just a dude that like to cook. That's it, right?
That's what's up. And your roots are actually right here in Atlanta. Your roots?
No. I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised, west side of Chicago, 60644 every day, all day.
Okay. So listen, anybody from Chicago, I asked the same question. Are your grandparents from the South?
They are.
Yeah. So that's 100% true right there. In case y'all don't know, a lot of our people migrated north to Chicago during the second Great Migration.
Straight up the Mississippi River.
Right. So a lot of people in Chicago are like low key country as hell, with a lot of stuff. So that's what's up. So did you have anybody who influenced you in your family?
My grandmother was a very strong influence for a number of reasons. Her ability to cook, one, but it's the stuff that you don't see. So her ability to turn nothing into something, her ability to turn food that just wasn't there into masterpieces. We come from very humble beginnings. As they say in the Raisin in the Sun, we're simple people. That's exactly what it was. But it was watching that simplicity turn complex without any energy or effort that I think is amazing, right? So you kind of watch that, and that's one of the things that stuck with me in terms of influence. So yeah, my grandmother, huge influence in my life, huge.
And I'm finding that to kind of be the common thread with a lot of African American chefs. They tend to go back to grandma. You know what I'm saying? Like it was because that's my story too. Something with grandma. So that's pretty awesome. And I guess that answered my second question. What got you into cooking? At what age did you start cooking? Some people say 5, 6, 7, some crazy like that.
It's really at what age did I start eating? That's really the question. I've been cooking probably as long as I can remember. 9-ish, 10-ish. I think I probably was experimenting in the kitchen. I didn't realize it was a passion and a gift until probably my early 20s. And then sort of after that is when I was like, oh, I have something. Let me sort of hone in and focus on it. So I guess somewhere around like 22, 23, I started taking it pretty seriously. And by the time I was in my mid 20s to late 20s, that was it. I was into it.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yep.
And I guess the age-old question that every chef, I get so tired of this fucking question, but I have to ask it. What's your favorite dish to cook?
I'm a recipe creator, right? So it's
Nice.
asking me what my favorite dish to cook is like asking me if I had kids, who's my favorite kid, right? And I know parents do have one. But it's impossible to pick. It's impossible to choose, right? And you have to figure out what day of the week is it? What season are we in? What are other factors, you know? Some days it's a short rib, some days it's a salad, some days it's a smoothie, right? So it just literally depends on the day.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And another key question, because I kind of polled a couple of people, a handful of people, they want to know, how did you grow your damn following so quick? Like, what is the key ingredient, or is it an amalgamation?
First of all, it wasn't so quick. Number one. All right. It wasn't so quick. Overnight successes take at least 10 years. So it wasn't so quick. But it was being two things. I always say is if you want to become an influencer, you got to do two things. One, you have to solve problems. Two, you have to add value to people's lives, right? So people need to look at you as some sort of subject matter expert or some sort of resource. So that means that the expertise that you have, the gift that you have, you're putting that on display in some way, some fashion. And that becomes attractive to people who are looking for the exact same thing you have. So they have a need that runs parallel to your gift or your level of influence. So that's number one. And then the other thing is, besides solving problems for people, is adding value to their lives. So what is it about what you do that people find attractive, and how does that benefit and uplift those other people? So a really good example would be, people have a very hard time making a pot of rice, right? It's white rice is like difficult for people to do. I've simplified it in a way that makes sense, and people go, okay, well, let me try that. Once they try it, they go back and they go, it worked. You know, this was amazing that this worked. How were we able to even do this? And now that we do it, or now that they did it, it makes them feel amazing, right? So that's the value add that happens. It's like a runner's high when you're on the treadmill, and they want that over and over and over again. So as long as you add value, as long as you're solving problems, you're good to go.
Wow. And you know what? That's so important, because people often ask, or not ask, want to know how to do certain things. And this culinary shit kind of exploded in the last, I say, 6-7 years, especially during COVID. Where people kind of tapping into and watching other people cook. So people often see things on social media or Instagram or TikTok that chefs or whatever do, and often think they can't recreate it. But you stepped in and say, listen, kind of like, if I can do it, you can do it. And that, I think that builds momentum and confidence for people to step in there and try it too. So that's, I should try to adopt that damn theory. Like that makes all the sense. Man,
it's a key component to why I've been so successful.
So do you have an inspiration to open or reopen a location? If so, where?
No.
Why not?
Why would I?
No. But listen, I'm with you. I get asked 100 times. You go open a restaurant? I'm like, hell no.
Why would I? No, it's
such a liability, bro.
The energy and effort it takes to create and run a successful restaurant.
People don't understand it.
Is not attractive to me at all, right? So I'll give you an example. A good restaurant. So when I was running, I had restaurants. I had Soul Crab. I'll give you real examples. I was running Soul Crab, right? Soul Crab Atlanta, Soul Crab Chicago. It is not unlikely to, on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, to pull in a good almost, I don't know, 30 grand. Let's call it 30 grand Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's like a 90 grand in a weekend, right? It's not impossible to do any of that. And that's like an average amount that you can make over a weekend or bring in terms of revenue. But because restaurants are so costly, and there's lots of people to pay, there's lots of expenses, that 90 grand that you made, you're probably keeping about 20 grand of that 90 grand, right? So if I'm only keeping, 20-25% of what I bring in, what other business models can we create where I could potentially take that 20-25%, increase that, and then the time and energy that it costs me. Let's figure out how we could decrease that. And then what about our dependency on external sources to make this happen? So, staff, wait staff, systems. What else can we do that we can decrease that? So in the e-commerce world, right, I could easily run a sale and make $100,000, right, in terms of revenue in my online store. If I'm going to make $100,000 in my online store, by the time I'm done with expenses and recouping costs, I'm probably keeping somewhere around 70 to 80% in my pocket, right?
Facts.
And I'm doing this sitting behind a computer, or I'm doing this sitting behind a live stream camera. I'm not working 12-hour days on Friday, 12-hour days on Sunday, and 12-hour days on Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not doing that. So because I'm not expending that amount of energy, I get a little bit of my time back, my mental clarity, my focus comes back, right? That becomes so much more attractive than saying I have an amazing restaurant.
And I'm glad you took time to break that shit down. A lot of people don't know how much go into a restaurant. And I've been asked over my career, I don't know how many times, why don't you open a restaurant? Why don't you open a restaurant? And I've had the liberty of doing pop-ups to where I've had keys to restaurant. And I go in for 90 days and I do my pop-ups, whatever the case is. And the amount of trouble and bullshit I see they put up with, like, bro, ain't no way in the world I want to do this.
And not only that, but it's like you have to look at your critical control points, right? So when you run a restaurant, there's so many points of control that are super critical that you have to put systems around so that they don't fail, or make the systems redundant so that the success of the restaurant does not wane as you're trying to move forward, right? That's too much energy. That's too much effort. And when you're dealing with and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but when you're dealing with a landscape where you have majority of the people who need to work in this market at a certain aptitude, the things that would require energy and effort above that level of aptitude, you then have to put in, which means that now you're stepping in to solve problems. You're stepping in to create systems. You're stepping in to employ strategies. And not that you can't do it, right? But to the degree in which you expend that energy is the degree in which you then have to become replenished. So that's extra energy and effort that's going out that you're like, bruh, I'm exhausted. I'm tired, and I'm doing it to only keep 20% in my pocket. Like, at the end of the day, that doesn't make sense to me, right? If I'm going to expend that energy and it gets me 70% in my pocket, okay, cool, let's do that. But it just so happens that in the e-commerce world, I'm expending all that energy, but I'm keeping so much more in my pocket. And then there are times that you don't even expend that much energy. You know what I'm saying? So for me to open up another restaurant, it just, I just can't see how that makes good common sense knowing what I know. Right.
Wow. Damn. You put a whole other level of understanding.
Yeah, that's how we look at it. That's how I look at it. I look at control point, because you got to remember, in order for a restaurant to run successfully, your inventory system's got to be in place. Somebody's got to do that, right? Your prep team's got to be in place. Somebody's got to do that. Your closing front of the house staff, somebody's got to manage that. Your closing back of the house staff, somebody has to manage that, right? All of the ancillary things you need, workers' comp insurance, Centos, you need towels, you need cleaning supplies, you need machines to be serviced. Somebody's got to manage that. That is a lot of work that needs to be done for me to be giving away 80% of my revenue.
You're absolutely right. And this is again, I know a couple of chefs, Chef, I think Butts in Atlanta, Chef Eileen, just a couple I know who actually got their restaurants and doing pretty good. I'm not sure of all the troubles they run into. But this spring, I plan on taking my show, actually physically going to those locations and talking to the restaurant owners and to get the inside track. So, but I know a couple of chefs that they're doing okay. I mean,
and I'm not saying that you can't make money.
But a ton of work, bro.
I'm not saying you can't make money in the restaurant. There are people that they thrive on running restaurants. I'll let them run it. Those are the people that can do that, can do this, right? I thrive in other areas,
For
and
sure.
running restaurants just is not appeasing to me. Is it fun? Yes. Is it interesting? Yes. But man, after doing it for 3 years, almost 4 years, I'm like, okay, I get it, and I did it, and I'm cool on it. I ain't got to go back.
Right, right. Check the block, keep it moving, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So another thing I'd ask you is, what are some challenges you face or have faced in the industry, and how did you overcome those challenges?
In which industry?
The food service industry. Just be, I mean, just doing what you do. Like, you know, you were sought, in my opinion, to be a part of the food service industry. You know, do you see yourself in the food service industry or the other industry altogether?
I don't. If I was still in restaurants, I probably could go with you and be like, I see myself in the food service industry. But the way I look at it, people always ask me like, okay, what do you do for a living? And my response is literally, I'm an entrepreneur in the food media space, right? So I thrive on building ecosystems that make people feel comfortable around food, and I monetize each level of those particular ecosystems, right? So I don't look at myself and go, I'm in the food service industry. I look at myself as a social media influencer who's built an ecosystem and has monetized that ecosystem, right? Because without this idea of a brand, without this idea of an ecosystem, DariusCooks does not exist. So all of the energy and effort that I put in happens to be around this particular ecosystem and building out these different levels of content that reach different levels of people and does two major things. One, solve problems. Two, add value.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
You sitting here blowing my damn mind, man. I mean, but like, damn, I wasn't even ready for the.
Yeah, that's how I look at it.
The answer you putting out. But listen, have you thought about a mentorship program, man?
Yeah, I mean, I could do one, but I don't have the time and the energy right now.
I got you.
I used to do business coaching, and I used to do master classes and all of that. And people they want to learn, right? And I would love to teach, but right now, like, you see how long it took us to even get this scheduled.
Yeah.
So the bandwidth at which I'm operating at, I don't have any more to devote any other time. And I like to operate. I have this principle where I operate in excellence and in abundance. And if I can't give 150% to the project, then it's like I can't do it right now. And right now, people who paid their hard-earned money to see me and to eat my food for this entire year, that's where my focus has to be. So moving forward, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, and also, and I don't want to make this sound arrogant, but this is the way I operate. The number has to be 1 million, right? So whatever I do, my base revenue line, if it does not bring me in at least $1 million in revenue, if the plan in and of itself does not have a goal attached to it, $1 million bucks, I'm not doing it, right? Because then I'm going to focus my energy and effort on things that will bring me in 7 figures, not things that just sound good to do.
Man, okay. Well, you teaching. So I'm gonna ask you something offline with that.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah, good.
Wow. I asked you offline because there's gonna be some other stuff that you
okay.
You got my wheels turning there, man. What advice would you give anybody that's aspiring to do what you do? Like, I'm pretty sure you have mentees, people look up to you. What advice would you give them?
I think the number one thing I try to teach or try to stand by is don't put the cart before the horse. Develop the brand first and then launch the product. So many people want to develop a product and then launch the product and then wonder why there's nobody to buy it. While I'm on live with you right now, doing this with you, I'm also live on Instagram to 665 people who are watching me. Right. So these are people who are part of the ecosystem. These are people who are part of the brand. These are people who are influenced in some way by something I do, but there's different levels of influence, right? So there's people who are like, whatever I do, they're in. Boom, no big deal, right? And then you have people who are like on the fence a little bit. It just sort of depends. I can introduce a new product to the market today. I don't have to look for people to buy them they're already in existence because I've spent time building the brand. So
The
I think it's
community.
important to build the audience first before launching the product. That's probably the number one thing I would say. Now, can
Wow.
you make, but here's the thing, can you generate a level of income from just a product and not a brand? Sure, absolutely. Will it be long-term, strategic revenue? Absolutely not.
Mm. Wow. So when you at this level, you have knives, pots, pans, glove, you have the whole anything somebody would need to be successful in the kitchen. You have all that stuff already out.
Yeah, to a degree, yeah.
Okay. How important is partnering? Is it something you do? But
No,
let me say this: with a major brand, there's somebody that's billions in sales. Would you consider partnering with somebody?
no.
Why not?
Whenever you partner with somebody, you got to partner your revenue with somebody, right?
Facts.
And if you are if you're betting on yourself, why do I got to bet on myself and whoever I'm partnering with, right? Why can't I literally take a step back and build the way I need to build so that I am not a partner with the billionaire person? I now become their competition. So that's what my head is. My head is 100% ownership. I'm not here to do this and split anything with anybody. I get asked all the time to do all types of crazy things, all types of partnerships. And I turn partnerships down all the time because it just is not interesting to me. I move in a specific way. I know I am not for everyone, but there is a sort of targeted, intended audience. And that's kind of where I want my focus to be. When you start partnering people, their ideas got to become your ideas got to become their ideas. I ain't trying to do that. I'm good. I'm trying to do exactly what I'm doing. And I think it's okay, honestly, to slow down so you can speed up, right? Perfect example. Last year, we did 176 dining with DariusCooks dinner parties, right? This year, we have 334 in the books. I've already done, 40 something, I guess, and it's only February, right?
Right.
In order to do this, I had to take a small break from producing food content. You hungry? Let's make a snack, right? I had to take a break from doing live streams as frequently as I used to do them because I'm focused on the tour right now. But when tour is over, I'm hopping back into it. But guess what? I've been recording content. I have thousands of hours of content ready to post right now today in this moment, right?
Wow.
That people have not seen. They don't even know it's in existence. And so I've taken a small break, but when this is over, when tour is over, I'm full speed ahead and I can go as fast or as slow as I want to go. If I had to do that with a partner, there's no way a partner would agree to that particular timeline. There's no way a partner would agree to the thoughts that I have and the ideas and the plans that I have. And so I'm just not here to compromise on where I feel like God is directing me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That and the way you're talking, brother, you talking with some major focus, man. And it sounds like you're like laser focused. You tested, tried and true the method, and you just sticking to your method. And I think that's so profound. And that's something that myself, and I've been in the industry for 23 years, military, teaching culinary school. I probably did every damn thing it is a culinary, but I was trying to find my lane the entire time. And rather than listen to what people were telling me to do, I was like, no, I don't want to do that though. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of chefs, my point is, a lot of chefs that I know to this day, they're still struggling to find their niche in the industry. Like,
yeah, because they're arrogant.
That's why. Meaning they're not humbling themselves enough, right?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You go to culinary school, you get a culinary degree, you think you're amazing, right? You know how to chiffonade basil, make an egg roll, do a sushi roll, and you think that's the end all be all. You put crab inside of salmon, and now all of a sudden, you're amazing. The reality is that stuff is great, right? But if you're not, again, solving problems, and if you're not adding value, what good is it to be doing any of this work? And then when you go back and you look at it, so many chefs are focused on, well, I just want to create, this good food. And you think that is what's going to propel you. everybody can cook good food. My little cousin can cook good food, right? Everybody can cook. You're not doing anything that so many other people haven't done. So it's okay to be arrogant as long as that arrogance propels you forward, right? I feel like it's like the idea of manipulation. People hear manipulation and go, it has a negative connotation. It has the connotation that you assign to it because major brands manipulate us every single day, and it's not a bad thing. You walk into a DoubleTree, the scent inside DoubleTree immediately gets you. It makes you feel calm, makes you feel good, makes you feel warm. That's intentional manipulation, right? You get that cookie they give you a DoubleTree. That cookie is intentional because it makes you feel a certain way. The deal with arrogance is that there can be a positive arrogance that moves you forward, but there can also be arrogance that holds you back. When you are unteachable, when you think you know it all, when you think you can't learn from someone else because they didn't go the same path that you went, that then becomes a problem, right? So, and my job is not to convince you that you're not going in the right direction. I don't care that you're not going in the right direction, right? But if you come to me and you ask me a question, or you come to me and you seek advice, you got to be teachable. Like you got to be able to learn something, and don't think you know it all because you know what a bechamel or a velouté, like you know what these things are. You know how to chiffonade and julienne, but you can't communicate your way out of the walk-in. You know what I'm saying? Or you can't create a brand beyond the expo line, right? You can't reach people beyond back of the house. All that has to go away, because if you're not able to communicate, if you're not able to be transparent, hell, half the chefs I know can't even put their own, like what's inside of them onto a plate. They need to be directed by somebody else, right? Wow. So there is a ceiling that even a chef has to break if he or she wants to move out to the next level. If not, he or she will always be a prep cook. He or she will always be a line cook. He or she will always be an executive chef at a restaurant, and they'll never break beyond that. And that becomes an issue.
Wow, man, let me tell you something. You're echoing my sentiments that I try to tell chefs all the time. I'm like, listen, first of all, you can't cook forever. I mean, you get fucking 55, 65 years old, you can't do 16-hour days in the kitchen behind that line. Right. Another thing, I ain't trying
to do it right now. I ain't 65.
I know, listen, I'm trying to let it go right now as far as the stand-up stuff. So what I tell, first thing I ask a young, chef, culinarian, and all that kind of stuff, whatever the case is, name me one chef that you know that has retired from this industry. I don't mean working for Sodexo or Aramark, just has retired. And they can't think of one person. So exactly, this is an unretirable industry. So you have to have something else in your back pocket, man. And I think you have more than showed them the way. And you have chefs, examples like Guy Fieri or other chefs in the industry, but they got that shit later. Like they were restaurant chefs. And I've been around these people. Their team is enormous. Like they're not doing that stuff. Right.
I agree with you. And I feel like the only reason I broke away from a traditional path is because I never started on a traditional path. Like when I first started, even doing videos and even food blogging, one of the things I told myself was that if I'm going to do this, I can't create stuff that everybody else is creating. Because what would be interesting about my chicken noodle soup if it's 85 other recipes doing the exact same thing? So, these days I might do something my way that somebody else is already doing or that you see that's common. But I still try to create from the space of let's make something that doesn't already exist. Why am I making something that already exists when you have options, right? Why we don't need another Ford Expedition. We already got one. We don't need another, G-Wagon. We already have one. Why would I create what's already created? So even from the get-go, the idea was always to be a little bit different and create from a space where things didn't already exist.
Right. No, it makes all the sense. Now, what we spoke about a second ago, that's going to lead into the next question.
Sure.
And I'm interested to see your answer about this. Do you feel like you have earned a spot in the ranks amongst chefs, because you're not a traditional chef,
right?
Do you feel like you paid your dues, you got skin in the game, and you can stand beside any chef Not necessarily with cooking, but just like shit. I don't earn my keep in this industry. Do you feel like you can stand beside chefs?
Well, I hate to say this, but I look at it a different way. Do I feel like those chefs can stand beside me? It's kind of how I look at it, right?
Okay.
I never seek to fit in, ever. It is not attractive for me to be accepted in an industry that does not have my best interest in mind. It is not attractive for me to be well known. It is attractive to me to be respected. That's where the attraction comes from. I could not care less if somebody wanted me in a particular lineup or if I felt like I belonged in a lineup. I don't care. I never sought to be accepted. I don't create from a space where acceptance is the norm. I don't build business around the idea of acceptance. In fact, I feel like I do the complete opposite. I feel like I go against the grain for a number of reasons, and that's the reason why I feel like I am where I am today. There are people who are chefs who've been in this industry for a long time, and they broke. Okay,
yes.
They're broke. There are people who've been in the industry for a long time. Nobody knows their name. They've been in the industry for a long time, and they could julienne beautifully, but when you put a camera in front of them, it's like watching paint dry. You know what I'm saying? So I don't operate in this idea where I've got to be accepted. In fact, don't accept me, right? Let me be the underdog. One way or another, my content will come across your screen, and you will have no choice but to respect the hustle.
Wow, that's powerful, brother. That is powerful. That is powerful. So what's next this year for you for 2023? Are you just mainly focusing on getting these dinner parties popped off? And
yeah. I work a year. I work a year and a half out, right? So I sold tickets to this dinner party last April, right? Wow. So we done had we've been sold out in select cities for quite some time. So that's been my main focus. I've been, like I said, I did a lot of dinner parties last year. I got a lot planned this year. And I need a little rest. So I feel like next year I'm taking some time to kind of chill. I still got projects in the works. I'm always working. The DariusCooks Plus app is on its way out. There will be a tour schedule of some sort next year. I just don't know what that's going to look like. I'm doing a little bit of shifting within my creative team. I just parted ways with my food stylist and food photographer I've had for the last 4 years. And so my last shoot yesterday, I became my own food stylist and food photographer, which went well. Right. Yeah, which went well. So just honing on those chops, learning how to work Lightroom better. And I'm still got cookbooks coming. I still have new items I'm adding to the online store. I've got, I don't have deals, but I have contracts with manufacturers who are making my products. So, onward and upward is where I'm going. Ain't nothing stopping. I'm just getting better. That's it.
I know that's right, brother. So we have definitely hit all those marks, hit all those questions I wanted to ask you. Now I know you got a lot going on. Get some rest. Any words of wisdom or advice that you can leave us with? I mean, from the average home cook to the inspiring chef, anybody. People want to know what's your, like Jerry Springer. What are your final thoughts?
It's real simple. Whatever's in your heart, cook that and put that on the plate. That's it. What comes from the heart, there's a saying that says what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And that's it. Be in touch with yourself, understand who you are, part of your story, and let that be the thing that inspires you to cook and put that on the plate. And from my perspective, I don't give a shit what nobody got to say about what I do.
That's the attitude you got to have too, man. Because
you do, especially in the social climate. So in the social media climate, you have to have, because so many people are judging your content, right? People, I feel like content is an art form. You can't judge art, right? You can discuss it, you can talk about it, you can say I don't like it, and that's fine, but you can't, there's no way to judge a person's art form. And the other thing too is like, you never know who your content is going to reach. There's somebody that is like literally waiting for what it is you have to offer, right? And their success or their demise. Their life or their death is tied into your obedience within that sphere of influence. So the more obedient you are, the people that are linked, the more air, the more oxygen they have to breathe. When you become disobedient and you don't do what you're supposed to do, those people who become connected to you, unfortunately, there could be blood on your hands from an untimely demise. So, the way I look at it is, hey, operate in obedience and live in abundance.
Wow. Words of wisdom. You heard it from the myth, the legend, DariusCooks. Man, I appreciate you so much for hopping on with me, man.
Absolutely.
We definitely did our thing and hit our mark. I've had a question in the chat over here. Yeah. Do you plan on doing your own reality show?
No. If I plan on doing anything, if I do anything, it's always self-funded. It's a self project. I'm like, call me the Tyler Perry if you want to, a fool, because I do my own thing. So I do have my YouTube channel. I know where that question is coming from. My YouTube channel and my content has taken a slight pivot in a fantastic way. The response has been amazing. And people want to see more of this, who I am, what I do, where I do it, how I do, I guess. So I hired a videographer, this guy, Corey from Wild Video Entertainment. That's his company. And he travels with me and follows me around with a camera and is like editing, like literally on the go, right? So he's like, I'm in Charleston. My team is out there at Sam's Club shopping right now. Corey is with them getting footage. The team is shopping for dinner for tomorrow. So I don't know about a real reality show, but listen, if the money's right, we can talk.
A day in the life of DariusCooks, I think, would be episodic.
I guess. I mean,
I'll tune in and binge on it
to see what goes on is very interesting. So I try to. So I do a lot of live streaming, like on Instagram, where I'm just sitting around, shooting the shit, like I'm on live right now. So they get a good opportunity to see a lot of that stuff. But yeah, if the money's right, we can talk.
I know that's right. Well, listen, y'all caught him here. I appreciate your time, brother. I'm gonna put you backstage for like 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna chop it up with you for about 5 and let you go.
All right, cool.
DariusCooks, man, definitely go follow him on Instagram. I don't have to shout him out. Shit, y'all know where he at. He everywhere.
Just don't Google my name. That's all.
You said don't Google your name. Follow him on Instagram.
There you go. That's what you do.
Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Twitter. Get to that YouTube channel, man.
It's amazing.
I was showing you some footage right here. How old is this footage right here?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, so recent.
Yeah,
the brother's taking you in the store with him and shopping. And you're the good store too. You're Publix.
Yeah, I'm at Publix. Yeah, I call it. It's a new term I developed. It's called sequence shopping. And I'll tell you about it real fast. Sequence shopping. So you know how it's the issues you have in the grocery store. You don't know what stuff is. You can't find this. You saw a recipe on TikTok or something, and you got to go to the store. So you write your list out. This, that, and the third. One of the features of the DariusCooks Plus app will be a shopping list feature, where any piece of content that I post online, you can click one button and add all the ingredients to any shopping list. You can create 400 or 4 if you want to. Or you can look at the recipe and say, okay, I only need these 4 things. So you add these things to a shopping list. And then once you go to the grocery store, you pull out the DariusCooks Plus app. The app has now sorted your entire list the way the grocery store is set up. So all of your produce is all in one spot. All of your smoked meats in one spot. All seafood in one spot. All frozen items in one spot on the app. And then that way, when you're in the store and you got the app in your hand, it makes the idea of shopping so much quicker, so much easier, so much more succinct. So I call it sequence shopping because now you're shopping in sequence and you're literally in the store and out the store in a fraction of time that it would normally take you.
Wow, boy, you about to make $1 billion with that.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
You about to make $1 billion with that. I mean,
that's what we're working on. From your lips to God's ears.
Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and put it. When I see you in Forbes, I'm like, I told him on my show he about to hit that billionaire club with that one. But
I got a few things I'm working on.
That idea is international. It's not just from like everybody needs that, man. You know how
that's the whole point. That's the whole point. I've got the DariusCooks Plus app we're developing. It's almost done. Well, it was done, but then somebody hacked the server or something. Is a whole technical thing. But yeah, that's the idea. So that all of the content that I produce is now in the palm of your hand, right on a device or on the website or on the app. It's like literally right there. So we're launching the app we've been recording. I don't know if you know this, but we've been shooting and editing videos since January of 2021. So it's been 2 years and just about 2 months of content that we've been shooting every single week. And majority of this content, actually 99% of the content, nobody's ever seen.
Wow.
Ever seen.
And what about TV, Darius? Are you going to go on the show?
So here's the thing. You have to think about how much does this TV pay, right?
They ain't gonna pay you
so, right, you got to talk about what does it pay? Because we're not doing it no more just to do it. We're doing it because it makes sense, right? And I'm talking about CENTS, not SENCE, or SENSE. We're doing it because it's got to make logical sense. If you go on Food Network and you do a show on Food Network as a new person on Food Network, you know, and you don't even shoot. Food Network don't even shoot no more. You have production companies that shoot and sell the shows to Food Network. So, you know, you do a 10-episode contract, you might get, $8,000 per episode. Let's call it 10 just to be conservative. So you're making $10,000 per episode. You're doing 10 episodes. So that's $100,000 they're paying you just to be on TV, right? You have to be subject to the ratings. The people have to like you. There's all these factors that go into getting season 2. So baseline, we're talking $100,000. I don't know if you know this or not, but I have an e-commerce store. I could easily, and I've done this all throughout fourth quarter. The people can show you. My online store did 1.8 million in the fourth quarter of last year alone, right? Jesus. So there were days I wasn't even trying to make 6 figures, right? I make 125 G's in one day, 130,000 in one day. At some points during fourth quarter last year, we had 4,000 items being shipped out the warehouse per week. Okay, so we're moving merchandise. I'm online. There's 690 people watching me. I could bet the farm that 500 of these 600 people have a DariusCooks product in their kitchen, whether it's a cookbook, an everyday skillet, a knife, a wine glass, a cutting board, enamel cast iron cookware, whatever it is, they've got it in their house, right?
Wow.
Why would I go on TV and expend that energy for $100,000 when I could literally cook live in October and make the same amount of money in 90 minutes that it would take me to make from 10 episodes on a show on TV?
Well, I'm so glad we talked, man.
It doesn't make sense. So I'm not interested in doing things that don't generate, and I'm not even interested in being a celebrity in that way, right? I'm cool with being a social media influencer. It keeps me sane. But at the same time, even in being a social media influencer, I'm reaching normal, regular, everyday people. Yep. That's where I thrive. I do not thrive in this environment where I'm cooking for. I get asked all the time to cook for celebrities. I don't give a shit about cooking for celebrities, right? There's even a couple of celebrities that follow me that wanted me to cook for them, and I declined cooking for them, and they stopped fucking with me because I won't cook for them. You see what I'm saying? I'm not here to do this. I don't care that you are a celebrity. I'm not cooking for you in that way. You can buy a ticket to dine with DariusCooks, all right?
And pull up.
Yeah, but my thing in terms of building empire, I'm not trying to do that from a standpoint that lowers the value. At this point, honestly, it's a business decision, right? If in my online business I could generate X number of dollars in my online business, why would I ever do anything else that requires the same energy and effort, but I make less money? It doesn't add up for me. So it's really a business choice at this point.
No, I definitely agree with that. I know after I did Chop and the Cut Through Kitchen, I got solicited to do Hell's Kitchen, like 4 or 5 shows. I turned that shit down. I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? People are, you crazy? I'm like, I'm good. I've done it. I checked the block.
I know, not for nothing. I know chefs who've won Chopped, right?
Yep.
And still sitting in my master classes.
I know chefs that won a whole bunch of shows and be hitting me up for coaching. I'm like, hey, You need
Yeah,
what?
I know people who've won and they still broke. So just because you won Chop, that's like I'm saying, it goes back to the original point. Yeah, you can cook. The food is good. What else? Right? And that's where people get stuck, right? They get in that point where, oh, I won Chopped. Yeah, it's a very humbling experience that you won that $15,000 on Chopped or whatever it is you won. And now a year later,
you broke, pay shit tax, you pay taxes on it.
You broke. You see what I'm saying? Yo, when you own it, they can't take it from you.
Come on, man. We definitely about to rap, man. Listen, y'all heard him here first, man. Listen, the brother is truly speaking how I've been thinking. You like the first person that I ever came across that had the same sentiments with this culinary, with this cooking shit, like taking to the next level, leveling up. People just want to cook, man. And I was saying beginning this year, I said here in Atlanta, it's so many cooks or people with chef jackets on in Atlanta putting cheese and everything. I said, I'm about to become the P. Diddy this shit. I'm about to just start signing niggas like Bad Boy and just if y'all want to cook, cool. I'm about to start creating a space for y'all just come cook and get paid off of y'all because y'all just want to cook. And they don't want to listen to sound right reasoning when you tell them, all right, now you have a banging macaroni and cheese recipe. Okay, that's cool. How can you now maximize the fact of how you're making it? And brother, they look at me like I'm damn crazy.
Oh yeah, that happens. Crazy.
So I'm so glad you came in here and spoke truth to power, man. I appreciate you again. Hold tight backstage for 1 second. Let me clear the air. Darius Cooks, follow him on Instagram. Go to that Twitter. Go to that YouTube page, man. You got some awesome footage on there. And look out for that app dropping soon. Darius Cooks. Thanks, brother. So listen, man. Y'all heard it live right here. Heard it first. Chefs, chefpreneurs, you have to maximize every opportunity, but take advantage, man. Have a plan. Cooking is fine. Cooking is cool. But you have to think outside that box and level up. Please do yourself that favor. Do yourself that if you have any questions, you need mentoring, you need some coaching, whatever the case is, definitely circle back, hit me up. If you need me to just pour into you or whatever the case is, reach out, hit me up. If you're looking to get certified any kind of way, need certifications. I'm doing certifications as well. If you have not heard of the Avenue, you have to get on the Avenue. The Avenue is a streaming app where you can get paid just for going live. Hit me up for that. I see the information about the Avenue as well. But again, y'all, it's time to level up, learn the business, understand the business. Cooking is fine, cooking is cool, but this is an unretirable industry. Keep that in mind. That's all I got to say, man. DariusCooks done summed it up. The brother said some powerful words, man. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. So listen, coming up next week, we have Chef Janice out of Pittsburgh. Chef Janice is going to stop through and chop it up with us, man. We have several other chefs coming through, but she's next week, next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. Come rock with your boy every Thursday night. Chefpreneurs, chefs in the kitchen. How to become a boss in the kitchen. Darius just told you how to boss up. If y'all not bossing up, man, that's on y'all. Until next time, family, peace.
I love you, Bobby.